Up behind my house, this is some dirt piles that were excavated from under the porch there so that the contractor could get his man lift back there to do the walls. There's a ground bee nest here, right in there, and I'm using the creek water. This is about as high as I can get it. You can see some bees flying in there. Hopefully they're gonna get all drowned out, or we'll just find a bunch of water running down out of the bottom of the pile. So this is about the same level as the intake, which is over here. You can see the yellow bucket there. Try to make it as horizontal as possible so you can see the yellow bucket. And then there's the bee nest. And I have two garden hoses hooked up, and it snakes down here and over there. So this is a much lower point. This is like 10 feet lower than the intake. And I did this zigzag so that there aren't any coils for bubbles to catch up. Because bubbles in a line like this can easily impede the flow. Not just flow, but pressure, so you won't even get air out. Like I had it first, all hooked up, but it was coiled up messily with an extra piece of hose there. And no water was coming out. But I did this so I could get all the bubbles to migrate out, and now we have water flow. You can see it's just a trickle, but that's maybe half a gallon per minute, maybe a gallon per minute. I don't know. Here's the intake bucket and what it's doing. There's a little pool of water there. It's coming out of some seepage and stuff. I don't know exactly where it's coming from. I think mostly up this side here, because this side's kind of dry. Now let's take a look inside the bucket. So you can see silt, and it's slowly dribbling down through. This rocket here is just to keep it from, when it's flowing better, from sucking air, because that'll keep it from forming a vortex and sucking air down. And then this pipe here has a bunch of slits along the bottom, and the water filters in through that. And it seems to be collecting all the water, because there's water flowing up there, and down below it here, there's no water. Oh, there's some water down there. But that might be seeping down from somewhere else. There, you can see it. And this bucket up here, which is my higher intake, it's dry. It's the 1st of October, which is early fall, and for the past 3 months, this entire creek bed has been bone dry. So this is the first time that it's actually getting like a steady flow after 3 days of no rain. If we do get a downpour in the middle of summer when it's dry, it'll get some water in it. But now it's getting a steady flow because it's fall and the trees aren't sucking up as much water because they're losing their leaves. It's the next day. We had a really good rain, and the water's flowing better now because the creek's fuller, and they're still there. So there's one flew in right now. So either that water is going down through the ground somewhere, and I don't see it coming out anywhere, or the tree is still sucking up all the water, which is probably the case. Or there's some channels from the tree roots that go underground, because there's a lot of water that comes out down here under my porch area naturally. You can see my bucket's overflowing. The problem here, I think, is that there's probably only about 6 inches or less of head difference between this level and the level of the nest. So there's a lot of pipe friction for the water to flow through, 100 feet of garden hose and only go down 6 inches. So it's not flowing very fast. And I did kind of dig this out a little bit. I think some of the water was going through over there yesterday.